Hey, the Pioneers, this is MJKK 613.14. Back at you again. Through my eyes, how I see Pi. Doing this one for responding to a comment that came in. I did another video, and I'm glad it was a long one because it took a long time to download. And the more I kept thinking about it, the more I kept going over it. The comment, the wording in the comment didn't sit right. Okay. I don't know where that post came from, because I went through the official Pi Twitter site and I did not find a post stating any of that information on the official Pi Twitter site. So wherever that information came from, it's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's an incorrect post. And if it has Core Team's name on it, or somebody from Core Team is posting it, it wasn't from Pi Core Team. No. Because it's not on the official site, and it didn't come from Core Team officially. It didn't post in the app, the Pi app. There was no post of that in the Pi app. So the information, that post, whoever posted it, is incorrect. I mean, it's false information. It's bad information coming from some irreliable source. So, yeah, the original video I did, okay. Anything stating first, fastest, lowest, okay. I can't make those. Core won't make those claims right now, because we don't know. Pi's still in development. I have my opinions, but that's not what this one's about. This one is about bad info. It's bad info posted by somebody trying to do something. Maybe they're trying to think they're helping, okay? But they're not helping. They're really not. They're actually hurting, because they're trying to pass off information like it came from Core Team and it's official information, and it happens on both sides of the fence, okay? So, with that respect, thank you for asking. Thank you, for bringing that comment up. So, with that, I got excited too, because I've been in a better, I'm pretty excited right now. So, I kind of took it and ran with it, and I explained it. Okay. Now, unofficially, the information that's in there, you can't use the fastest, the lowest, you can't do any of that. The reality of it is, the foundation protocol that Core chose to write Pi from, Stellar Consensus, is, to this point in time, is one of the best protocols for running blockchain out on the market today. It is fast. From what I heard, I'm not running a node. I'd like to be running a node, but I'm not running a node. From what I heard, where the nodes are at, in testnet, they're tuned to about 1,000 transactions per block, and it can create a block in about, I think they said 4 to 5 seconds. Is what I've heard. Don't quote me on it. That's just what I've heard from people running the nodes and just the thought. Currently, we're in testnet. Pi is in testnet, and also currently, the testnet blockchain is being run by Pi supernodes. The supernodes, I believe, and will be chosen by Core Team. Who they are, I don't know who they are. Okay, but because Pi is built on trust, the supernodes should be chosen by Core Team. There shouldn't be anybody just willy-nilly coming in to run a supernode, because the supernodes do the work. They do the ordering of transactions, they do the listing of transactions, they build the block of transactions, and then they put the block in the chain. Regular nodes, from what I understand, are part of the consensus. And it takes both to make the protocol work. Yes, it can be run off just off the supernodes, but to keep everything honest, to keep it on the up and up, it takes both nodes. Supernodes do the heavy lifting, but the voting process goes by all of the nodes. The more nodes there are, the more honest the system is. There are pros and cons to running a lot of nodes, from what I understand. The more nodes there are, the slower the network runs. But being able to process blocks of 1,000 transactions in 5 seconds, under 5 seconds, it's pretty quick. I don't know of too many others that are out there, but I wouldn't lay claim to the fastest. No, not until it's up and running, because I wouldn't lay that claim to say the fastest. They are at the top of the list. They are at the top of the list as far as fastest running, as far as fastest creating blockchain. I would say yes. That's my opinion. But that's all it is opinion. Until Pi is live and actually running an official blockchain, once that happens, then start laying claims. I'm not real big on laying claims. I went through some battles over first mobile mining app, and I don't want to get into that. We'll leave it at that. It has been checked by the Google. It's been checked by Google. It's been checked by the App Store. It's been whatever. So the claim must be okay, or in the ballpark. It's got to be, because both of them pulled the app. Both of them put the app back on. So as far as Google Play and the App Store, it's legit. Otherwise, it wouldn't be listed on their platforms, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency and wallets and mining and all of that. Yeah, neither one of those platforms will allow actual proof of work mining, because they're liable. They would be liable if somebody loaded a proof of work mining app from one of those locations, and a phone blew up on somebody while they were talking or whatever, and got injured. They would be just as liable for that deal. Yeah. Then you get in a whole lot of legal stuff. So as far as that goes, Pi is okay. When it comes to the mining, yes, I've done a couple of videos on that as far as mining and what consists of mining, stuff like that. I don't get into that. So as far as the speed, yes, it's fast. It's as fast as the eye can see. Let's put it that way. I use the comparison of, let's say Bitcoin, Pi, and Visa. We all hit the register, same thing with same amount of stuff. Visa swipes its card and it's done. However Pi's going to make its payment, and it's done. Bitcoin is probably still waiting. As we're walking out the door, Visa, when he walks out the door, or they walk out the door, they still have a debt to pay, because they did it on debt, or they did it on credit. And now, if they used a debit card and took it straight out of their account, which most people don't do, they're walking out with debt. They still have to pay that bill at the end of the month, with interest on top of, because they borrowed the money. Pi, on the other hand, you swipe it, you're done, and you're walking out, you're free and clear. There's no debt, there's no interest payment, there's no, whatever was bought, it's yours, free and clear. So that's the difference. But it's as fast as the eye can see. So being fast, yes, Pi is fast, will be fast. The higher transaction load, yes, it it can load transactions faster than most of what's out there. Now I don't know. It's off of Stellar. There's different things going on between Stellar and Pi, but it's off of Stellar. So however fast Stellar is, Pi should be at least that fast as loading transactions or processing transactions, getting them in the blocks and getting the blocks on the chain. Now, from what I understand, with Bitcoin or proof, I don't want to because I don't want to sing a lot of these coins. Proof of work. Proof of work takes a minimum 8 to 10 minutes for the nodes to process the transactions, to list the transactions, put the transactions in the block, and get the block on the chain. What takes the time with proof of work is solving the mathematical equation to be able to put the block in this chain. All of the other stuff is already, it's already done. It's waiting for the whatever node solves the puzzle to say this is their block. Then they go through the consensus with the rest of the nodes. It has to go through the same consensus process as the rest of them. Goes through the consensus process, then the block is added to the chain. The whole process takes 8 to 10 minutes. Now I think they've sped up some others and they've done some stuff with some others. So don't throw rocks at me for that. I'm knowing what I know off the basic proof of work blockchain. Plus, that block can be overwritten for an hour. So that block really isn't sealed for an hour. Nobody, you don't hear about it, it's not talked about, it's not what, but that is, from what I understand, that is a fact, that it can be overwritten for an hour. Pi, on the other hand, when the block is done, 4 seconds another one's coming behind, so that block's sealed. Once the transaction hits the block, goes to the chain, another one hit, it's sealed. It can't, there's no way to get in and rewrite it or change it or whatever. It's sealed. So, in that respect, Pi blockchain is one of the securest blockchains. Okay. So, with that, saying that it has the highest, no, we can't say. I wouldn't claim to say it was the highest, but I could safely say it's at the top of the list. It's within the top 5 or 10. That would be realistic. So whoever's posting this is trying to build Pi up more than what it is. And like I say, I don't know whether they're looking to help or looking to whatever, but it's false claims. Putting the words fastest, first, best, all it leads to a lot of other implications. Because if there is something out there faster, they're gonna say hey, no, and then it comes down to Core's lying, Pi's lying, so it opens a can of worms. So whoever posted this shouldn't be posting it. Don't need no. Okay. Lowest handling fees, and this is where the wording kept getting me, because those aren't words the Core would use. No, not handling fee. It's not lowest handling fee. It's lowest transaction fees, and it's not low. It's low transaction fees because it's not determined on what the transaction fees will be. No. Right now in testnet, there is a transaction fee. We're testing because in the white paper it says that the nodes should share the transaction fees once a day. So I'm sure there's more to the mechanism of collecting transaction fees, putting them wherever they need to go, and every 24 hours calculating it out so the nodes are being paid. That's how I understand the white paper. But from what I understand from Core, it's not decided yet on what or if nodes will get any incentive, and what or if to do with the transaction fees. Now, there's a lot of opinion and a lot of whatever around them. One of the first ones is to burn the transaction fees. In my opinion, that's one of the biggest mistakes that could ever happen in Pi. Burning Pi is one of the biggest mistakes that I could ever see happen in Pi. Because when you start, especially transaction fees, because even though it may be low or small, they're going to add up over a 24-hour period, over a long time. They're going to add up, and it's going to drive the price of pi up. And driving the price of pi up isn't, yes, I don't want to say that's not what pi is about. Pi should start at a reasonable value that everybody in pi can use pi, and over time, that value will increase. And the transaction fees, to burn them takes away from the supply. Taking away from the supply drives the price up because everybody's looking for scarcity, and that's the illusion it creates. But if you really understand pi and how it's built, designed, and built, if we start screwing with, my opinion, if we start screwing with the coins the way they are, the way they're distributed, you start taking them out of the economy. We're going to throw pi balance off. We're going to throw that distribution off. We're going to throw the balance off. We're going to and the dynamics of pi will change. And in my opinion, over the long term, will shorten pi's life. I'm not saying it's going to kill it. It's going to shorten pi's life if we start taking pi out of the community, out of the economy, because pi is looking to be a currency, not a tradable commodity or asset. And I just got into a major discussion, I go round and round with everybody, because my views are different. They are 180 degrees out of what things do today. But what things do today, everybody's all about exchange. It has to go to the exchange. It has to do the exchange. The exchange is only half the picture. It's a small half of the picture. I'm not saying that pi won't trade on the exchange, shouldn't trade on the exchange. It should. It should and it will. But the exchange shouldn't dictate value. Price shouldn't dictate value. Price should follow value. We should have value first and then set price. And because of how the space operates and what people believe the space is and what is going on, I believe it. People that are in the space right now have it backwards, and they're missing the bigger picture. Because if you take any economy, any country has their own economy. And inside that economy, the exchanges are part of that economy. They don't make up that economy. Exchanges don't make up an ecosystem. No, exchanges aren't an ecosystem. They're part of an economy. The ecosystem is what, I use the United States. The United States ecosystem is the land that it's on, is the resources that are in that land, is the industry that is on that land, manufacturing the goods from the resources to be sold, is that ecosystem. The people that make it happen is that ecosystem. You need the people to go to work, to earn money, to earn the currency, to buy the goods and services that are being produced. That's the economy. Buying houses, buying cars, the way the system is set up, because it's set up on debt, because it's set up on a debt system, it's bad. It really, and it's taken X amount of years to get to the point we are. It's bad. Building anything on debt, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But that's a whole different deal. Okay. So getting to the economy, getting to the ecosystem, it's everything. Everything that is in the United States. Everything is the ecosystem. From the ecosystem, the currency is generated that we earn to buy things, which drives the economy. The stock market is part of the economy. Investing in companies is part of the economy. It's not the economy. And anything today in the world that is measured against the dollar, because it is the reserve currency, and it is. And this is just a hypothetical. If the dollar were to crash totally, go to zero, bankrupt, there is no value to the dollar. Everything that is tied to it and looked at from it goes to zero. That means all these cryptos and all this stuff that's the bubble that's overinflated now, it's all worth nothing because it's trading on the exchange. There is no use case, utility, anything in these cryptos. The use case and the utility is what creates the ecosystem. The people in the community using the currency creates the economy. And I know I've been wrong so far so many times that I don't see what's going on. I'm the one that needs to look at things through a new set of lenses and glasses and all. I have. I learned Pi first, then I learned everything else around it. So I have. Now I may be off here and there, but I'm in the ballpark, man. I'm down on the field. I might be in right field or whatever it is, but I'm down on the field. How everything's going to play out from there, I don't know. But because the way the stock market works, the way the exchange works, supply and demand, trading volume. If people are playing and they're holding the coin and not allowing any to get out to sell, if they're not selling any, buyers want it, they're willing to pay more. Well, when it gets to a point that people are putting it out on the market and there's too much out on the market that people can't buy it as fast as it's getting put out there for the price that it is, or they're not willing to pay the price. You got more coins that are wanting to be sold than are being bought. The price goes down. That's trading. I mean, that's simple. That's simple trading on it. It's a speculative market. Pi's not looking to be a speculative coin. It's looking to be a currency. Okay. Anyway, I got off on that. Transaction fees. Like I did make a suggestion about transaction fees. I believe and I don't want per dollar, I mean a set amount, but there should be a percentage, whatever it is, low enough to keep it, low enough to do business. I mean, right now, like the tax rate in California is like 287 or 923 or something. I mean, it's way up there. That's what the amount of stuff being taxed. Oh, yeah, okay. They just keep adding taxes up to generate revenue. Well, in crypto, it's supposed to eliminate that. And I've heard of other coins where transaction fees are getting out of hand, and they're paying a lot in transaction fees to do business. Well, crypto was designed to keep the transaction fees low, to keep more money in our pocket, more currency in our pocket. So my suggestion was to just a flat rate, whatever it is. 1, 2, 0.5%, whatever that percentage is, to keep it low. Accumulate them on a daily basis. Distribute them through the nodes on a decreasing function, where the top super node gets the most, and then by proportionally the lowest page rank node gets the least. To me, that's the incentive for all nodes to be doing better to get up in page rank, to increase their trust. The higher in page rank you are, the little bit more coin you get. To me, that's incentive. Okay? I know, and money can be a decentive too. But that, to me, if you want a little more, you gotta keep active, keep update, do what you gotta do to get up on that page rank to get a little more. That, to me, that's how I think transaction fees should be dealt with, because they've already been inserted into the economy, and they should circulate around the economy. We should never lose any coin. It should always be put back into the economy. Because as the mining rate goes on, let me see if I go to lowest number. Oh, the number of people, yes. That one, like I say, I don't like putting the largest, the best, the biggest, the whatever. But I don't know of any other project like Pi or any other crypto out there that has the amount of people that have joined it while it was still in development, and hit going live, mainnet, with the amount of people or pioneers that are in Pi. I mean, we got to be coming up on 30 million. I don't know of any other crypto that has launched live to the public with 30 million people. So, in that respect, we got a lot of people going. Then that's also why Pi shouldn't have to start at the beginning. Starting on the exchange at a penny is starting at the beginning, and every other crypto has done it because the people that are control have made it do that. Every other crypto has come up doing pump and dump, or most of them. I don't want to say everyone, most of them, because that's the mentality. That's the way, and you can see that mentality in Pi. Well, if we're 30 million people, we have use case, we have utility, because the use case is what gives value. I mean, the blockchain and all that stuff gives value. And see, when it came down to expensive is the one that really made me start thinking, it really made me look. Core wouldn't use expensive. Expensive isn't the term that would be used. No. Value. It would either be value or price. I imagine the way this is written is somebody from overseas, is what I'm getting at, what I'm figuring. Probably China, Asia, somewhere in the Philippines, somewhere in there. That's kind of how this is reading, translated to English, in my book. Yeah, feeling a lot of it, but with my excitement, and I've been burned a couple of times jumping too fast without research and all that other stuff. And good thing that video was as long as it was, because the more I got thinking about it, the more I got to go, no. And going back into Twitter, and I went through the official page. This listing is not on the official page. It did not come from Pi app. So it is bad information. It is bad information being put out by somebody that isn't attached to core, isn't attached. They're attached. You can definitely tell they're attached to Pi, but they're not attached to core. Verbiage, wording. When you're reading the post, look at the wording and how the wording is used and how it's. Yeah, this is a translation of something from somewhere else. Largest number of people, and like I say, the expensive is value. And that's what I'm getting at. If Pi has use case, utility, community, and when it says people, I'm sure Core would probably use community, size of community, biggest community, largest community, would use community, verbiage. That we have a big community. And Pi is circulating. If Pi is circulating, which it should be, going to mainnet. So we have utility, we have use case, creates value creation, which moves Pi from the current model used today, total supply, circulating supply, whatever factors. Okay, that's exchange. That's how they figure price on exchange. Pi just moved into intrinsic value. Goes from a whole different, the formula is totally different to figure intrinsic value. Pi needs to figure intrinsic value first. The exchange can't do anything but follow. They have to follow. Now, we're to a point, I think we're to a point now that with what has been going on unofficially and transactions that have been made through the in-app transfer that's been running for almost a year and a half or so, there is a buying power value on Pi, unofficially. And from my understanding, when Pi goes to launch his mainnet, basically, there is very minimal Pi to be traded on the exchanges. Very minimal. There are already investors. Everybody keeps pushing investors. Wouldn't this be good for this investor? Wouldn't that be good for that investor? Wouldn't that? No. I've explained it in other videos. The investors that Pi is, first opinion, mine, investors that Pi is looking for are investors that are willing to sell products to pioneers in Pi to be vested in the community. That's the type of investors that I believe Pi is looking for. The investors that, what I'm hearing from people talking about, are money investors, putting money in. Well, yeah, every crypto out there, because there's no use case or utility, has to create liquidity. There has to be liquidity behind it. That's why they run ICOs and all that, to create liquidity, to get trading started, to put money in the pockets of the creators of that currency, that coin. You can't even call it a currency. That coin, that token. That's why they run ICO, to get money in. Now, I'm not saying Pi doesn't need some funding. It really shouldn't. It really, because of how Pi is set up right now. Look, liquidity should already be happening and already be built into Pi. The people overlook. Yeah. Because one of the biggest complaints about internet companies is selling our data for looking at ads, pumping us with ads, and they even do it on YouTube. Okay, somebody to monetize their channel is showing ads. Little annoying things that come up at the bottom. They're making money off it. Somebody's making money off the ads. Core's been accused so bad about them making money and us making nothing. Different glass. The ads are funding Pi because Core has overhead. I mean, the actual Core team has grown. You know, they need servers, they need this, they have to pay for storage and cloud. There's a lot of overhead expenses that has to be covered. And we have never been asked for a dime, a penny, and nothing. Core has taken all that responsibility on themselves to keep Pi true to Pi. That's why the ads were voted on, implemented, all that. We had a say in the ads on the best way to fund Pi. Well, new people coming in, all they see is what they already know. They haven't looked at what the reality of. So, all right, Pi has liquidity, use case, utility, size, reach, stretch. That's all value creation. Whatever value we choose, whatever value somebody looking to sell something at, and we're willing to pay that amount of Pi for that item, is Pi value. It just needs the transactions to show it, to show the world, the public, that that's what it is. Because everything that's been built in Pi is the foundation, support, cement to support that value. Value, not price, value. If we don't sell, if there's no Pi out on the market to sell, if there's no Pi out on the market to buy, there's nothing for investors to invest in. There's nothing that they can buy. I mean, they can't buy Pi, they can't buy stock, there's nothing to buy. Except for one little bit is out there from initial investors that, okay. Well, there is a lot of, I believe there is a lot of coin that through the initial investment, whatever it is. Okay. But that's pretty much all stuff. That's what they're going to be trading at. Now, runs through a different scenario. If that's the case, then what has been created through the initial, whatever Core has done to raise funding through the initial investment, that are all family and friends, and whatever it is that are in-house. They're in-house. And there hasn't been any more, there has been more created, but it wasn't open to outside investors that I know of, that I've seen anywhere or can find anywhere. So even if there was more created, it still didn't entice outside investors. It wasn't looking for outside investors. So whatever that pool is that pours on right now, that might be what serves on the exchange. And if that's the case, then there's going to be two values going on for Pi. There's going to be going on for Pi. And one of the biggest things is if we don't sell inside, the exchange trading doesn't affect what's going on inside. It really doesn't, unless we let it. Now, if we start to sell out, then that lowers what the value that we have going on here. And we're taking buying power away from in here and giving it away. And that's what investors are looking to do. Investors are all about profit. Their best interest always isn't the best interest of Pi. Horse still has Pi's best interest. Still has our best interest in mind. So, I mean, I want to answer because I would rather give people at least as much information as I can. I can, like the gentleman I was with tonight. And I didn't want to get into it. I mean, I knew it. I knew if I posted that it would get into it. And I really wasn't ready, but I don't care how he looked at it. He was attacking a friend. He was attacking somebody I know, somebody that's on Pi. Now, I know he gets out there like I do. People don't understand him all the time, and he talks about a lot of different stuff and whatever. But if you see Pi and you understand Pi, you understand what he's saying. If you're looking at it from the exchange and trading on the exchange, and that's how it works, those that do know Pi and they're talking that way are totally misunderstood, and we are the ones that are wrong in the eyes of. And anytime that gets, it becomes a battle. It really does. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But when somebody is under they've learned, they know the space, they've been around the space for a long time. They know finance from crypto side. They know finance from the system that we use today. Well, they have made crypto fit today, fit the models of today. If you look at crypto, and you know bookkeeping, money, finance, there's a few different ledgers. There's I can't think of the one. My mind went off on that side. But most people keep I'll have to get back in where it's kind of like a budgeted ledger that you have X amount every month. You put in X amount of money. X amount goes into each category, and you spend from that category, like auto maintenance or gas or whatever it is, or inventory of this or whatever. It comes from a different category, and at the end of the month, whatever you use from that category, and say you have $100 for this category, and you only use 50, you only reload it with 50 to bring it. It always stays at about $100, and that's how the bookkeeping goes around. How normal bookkeeping is supposed to go around. Okay? And I forget the terminology of what it's called, but that's how that budget works. That's how that. So if you have, you have employees' wages, and you have stock from this one, and you have utility bills, and you have this, and you have that, and those pretty much are all fixed costs. The only thing that really isn't fixed is employees' wages. That's the area that they can play with, because electric's going to be what it's going to be. The raw materials you need, that's what it's going to be. So those are pretty much fixed costs. They can figure out budgets on those. So when the bills come in, they pay it, whatever. Then at the end of the month, out of their profits, whatever, they reload that budget. And I don't know what the terminology is, but I know how it works. I just don't know what it is. Crypto crypto is a cash system. It's a cash system. Cash, everything is cash. What crypto you have, if you go to buy something or trade or whatever it is, whatever you have in your wallet is all you can trade. The protocol already knows it. Protocol already knows what's in our balance, what our balance is. And when we make trades, it moves it and does its thing. That's how it keeps it from double spending and all other stuff. It's a cash in, cash out system. I trade to you, you trade to me. Cash in, cash out. So, the systems are different. To me, personally, a cash system works better. But, because people live over their means, and they're so used to a credit system, buy today, get it today, pay it tomorrow, and pay interest on top of it. That's what big government, big business, central banking, they're counting on you to have that mentality. They need you to have that mentality. Yeah, I'm taking you because I'm out of that. I don't. I live on a cash system. I've lived on a cash system for a long time. I have no credit cards. I owe no debt. I don't have a car payment, house payment, well, utility bill. Okay, but that's about it. If I don't have the cash, if I don't have the cash, I don't eat. If I don't have the cash, I don't get gas. If I don't have the cash, I don't get cigarettes. I just don't get it. Can't afford to buy it. I can't do whatever. That's the cash system. That's how crypto is set up. Crypto is set up as a cash system. But because that's not the system we're in, that's not the system that people are used to, and they may not be getting enough. There's definitely not. If cryptos are down to $1, you don't have enough coin to do anything, unless you got buku billions of it. It really doesn't matter because you're getting pennies. So, but people enjoy playing that game. They enjoy pushing stuff into that game. Okay. Now I know everybody's focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum because those are the top two, but they operate and run the same way. They operate and run the same way. It's cash in, cash out. What is fueling the swings is emotion, scarcity, influence. That's what the government is cracking down on it, trying to regulate or whatever. Is unrealized capital gains. And it's getting so tight now, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. Because people, I'm not saying, I got two thoughts, okay? Because people are trying to avoid paying taxes, paying. And I know the rich do it all the time. Man, I watched a deal on the rich and taxes the other night. Blew me away. Because they have no debt. What's even worse? What's even really sad about this the system that we live in today? The rich have no debt because they don't need to have debt. Debt is incurred if they choose. But when they choose to incur debt, it's not coming out of their stack. They borrowed money to borrow money. So they're using somebody else's money because the interest payment is lower than the tax. Oh, it was wild. Look at these schemes that these guys got going on up here. And if we try that down here, we get spanked, man. Okay? That's what's going on in crypto. That's what's happening in crypto. Because it's been forced that way. That's why Pi's not looking to play there. They can have that sandbox. There will be a portion of Pi. Now, the way we need to take a portion of Pi, and I think that, bingo, like one. Now, that may be what Core did. After the other night, last night, whatever it is, I'm seeing things even different than I was seeing before. I just don't know whether if I'm looking at them the correct way. Because, I struggle with things like Core's investors. They came in from jump. No more outside investors have come in. There is a pool of Pi that is from that investment side. Has nothing to do with what we're earning and what we're mining and what we're producing on the community side. So there is a separation between those two. Now, if what just went off here, there should be a portion of Pi that goes to the exchange. They can play in that sandbox. Let them play in that sandbox. It's going to happen. It's going to happen regardless. But what we can't do is buy into that. There's no reason we need to play in that sandbox. We need to go up to the big boys table. That's where Pi is headed, the big boys table. They can stay down the sandbox all they want. Because it's only a small portion of overall Pi ecosystem and economy. It's part of the economy, but it's only a small portion. They can stay playing in the sandbox. Let's go to the big boys table. So, that we'll leave it go to that because I'm on again. This post was wrong. The information is close. Post was wrong. It's somebody trying to do something or get people to believe or do something. It didn't come off of Pi official Twitter. If it doesn't come from the Pi app or official Pi sites. It's bad info. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Thank you for asking. I hope I get a little insight. I'm wrong again. I want to say thank you for everybody for subscribing, everybody for viewing, everybody for commenting, everybody for. I just want to thank everybody. I just want to keep putting out content that, even if you get just a little bit or makes you think a little bit, that's what I'm all about. All right, I'm out.